Good day, university community. Every year, the international community has put in place an open access week to celebrate the evolution of open access in different segments: open books, open journal, open publishing, and others. And UMaT has always put in some information about the theme for every year. Last year, the theme was on community over commercialization. And this year, the open access team has decided that they want to continue with the same theme because the objective for putting it in 2023 has not been exhausted because of certain evolution of the information landscape. Because if you look at what is happening in our platform, in our information landscape, there has been a lot of issues that has come up, and some of them are the open AI and its accessories like the ChatGPT and others. So they feel that the team is still an ongoing thing, so they have to repeat it for 2024. That is why we are still adapting to the Open Access Week, Community over Commercialization. This theme contributed to a growing recognition of the need to prioritize approaches to open scholarship that serve the best interests of the public and the academic community. Taking the unprecedented step to build on this theme for a second year highlights the importance of this conversation and presents the opportunity to turn more of these deliberations into collective action. So they've realized the need to continue with the same theme because the prioritization of this theme is very, very crucial to the academic community. Because when you look at the theme itself, community over commercialization, is the research serving the community? And if research is serving the community, why should researchers pay for publications? You see, so if researchers are paying for publications, it means in one way or the other, you are being asked to pay for something that will benefit the community. And looking at most of our publishing industries, before you can even publish in some of them, you need to pay a fee to be able to publish. So if you are going to pay to be able to publish, it means you are commercializing the industry. Something that is going to serve the community has been commercialized. And that is the issue that this team is hovering around. Now, so the many questions surfaced by the team last year are even more pressing in 2024, given recent development, such as the rush to integrate artificial intelligence into commercial academic systems without community consultation. Ongoing critical questions include: what are the consequences? What are the consequences when a small number of corporations control knowledge production rather than the researchers themselves? You see, these are the questions they are asking. You see, look at the number of knowledge production entities. You see, they are small, but look at the number of researchers. You see, so you realize that these corporations are making huge profit out of those who are churning out research for development. So these are questions that are being asked. You see, so if corporations are just yearning for profit, and the researchers are trying their best to make sure that they publish to be able to make an impact in our society, in our industries, in the economy. So it means there's something wrong somewhere. So what are the hidden costs of business models that entrench extreme levels of profit whilst exacerbating inequity? When does the opaque collection and use of personal data by commercial platforms begin to undermine academic freedom? When, in what ways can commercialization align with the public interest? When and in what ways can commercializing align with the public interest? What community governed infrastructures already exist that better serve the interests of the research community and the public, such as preprint servers, repositories, and open publishing platforms? How can we shift the default toward using these community-minded options? So Open Access Week 2024 will be held from October 21st through to 27th. However, anyone is encouraged to host discussions and take action whenever it's most suitable during the year. So UMaT Library has decided to adopt Research for Life as one of our open access portal to create awareness about the importance of this portal called Research for Life. So it is something that we want to create awareness about this particular database, because it helps the academic community to access open access publications all over the world. So as we celebrate Open Access Week 2024, the theme, Community over Commercialization, emphasizes the importance of prioritizing the needs of the global research community over profit-driven models. Emphasize the importance of prioritizing the needs of the global research community over profit-driven models. Research for Life is one of the key open access initiatives. It plays a critical role in this effort. So by providing equitable access to research and knowledge, Research for Life fosters collaboration, innovation, and academic growth, especially in low and middle income countries. So looking at the preamble to this, it talks about accessing free databases from Research for Life, and by doing that it fosters collaboration, innovation, and then academic growth. And especially some of us who are in the low and middle income countries, we can access their databases free without paying any income or paying any subscription. This aligns perfectly with this year's theme, as it demonstrates how open access platforms can empower researchers worldwide, advancing science and education without the barriers imposed by commercialization. So if you are talking about commercialization, Research for Life is not about profit driven. It is about making sure that research that has been impacted by the academic community are made available to the public, irrespective of your level of economy. So together we are building a more inclusive and accessible research community. Yeah. So as part of the Research for Life program, we are continuing with the online. The initial presentation was just to introduce the Research for Life, what the type of information and how you can navigate around it to get information, how to log in and others. So we are continuing with the online version. You have the URL, as I mentioned. We have a brochure that will give you all this information. You have the URL, that is portal.researchforlife.org. So now we are now on the platform of Research for Life, and it is welcoming us to Research for Life. And when you recall, during my presentation, I mentioned search functions, search across Research for Life, and then the content, the collection, and where to log in. So currently we are working on integrating it into our IP, so that as a member of the university community, anytime you want to access Research for Life, you can just go straight as with regard, just like the way we use our online databases. So you don't need to log in with your username and password. So I'm going to log in. And as I mentioned, the Research for Life have 5 different subjects areas, which are very huge areas. You have the Agora, the ARDI, OARE, the GOLI, which is the legal, and HINARI, that has something to do with health. So now, to log in, you need any of the subject areas. You see, so you can use HINARI to log in, you can use ARDI, you can use Agora, and others. So I'm familiar with HINARI, so I always use HINARI to log in. And when you log in, you have access to all the portals. When I'm talking about the portals, I'm talking about the various subject areas. So I'm using HINARI login. So you have GHA 117. Every institution has its own login details. University of Ghana has its own, as well as UCC, KNUSC, and others. So as I mentioned in my presentation, the language we are using is English. So I've also indicated English. So I'm logging in. Yeah, so these are the subject areas. You have Agora, ARDI, GOLI, OARE, and others. So these are the subject areas. So we want to now go into the system to check how we can go ahead to access the databases. So now we have now logged in. We are on Research for Life portal. As I mentioned yesterday, you remember before we started, we went through the various sub areas. You have the content. The content gives you the various areas that the portal has. So the journals, the books, reference sources, databases, free collections, information providers, recent resources, and then the subjects. So it covers the various journals that have been integrated into the system, the books across all the portals, reference sources, the different databases, free collections, and others. Now when you come to the collections are the subject areas which are being categorized as HINARI, talking about health related. As I mentioned earlier, health is not just health, but it goes beyond health and its related discipline. You have the agriculture one, also related areas, ARDI, talking about innovation development. You have the legal aspects of the portal, and then we have the OARE. This one is more into environmental and its related areas. In case you need help with regards to navigating around Research for Life, it also gives you an area where you can go in for help in case you find yourself wanting in terms of access. Yeah. And then you remember yesterday I was using a term, hamburger. Yeah. So this hamburger gives you everything that it contains. So you have the contents, you have the collections, and then you have search content, personal sign-in, health training, the partners that have come together to put their information into Research for Life, and then you have reports. Now, assuming we want to, maybe we are a health-related institution and we want to access the health aspect, we can just use HINARI. You click on HINARI. Yeah, so here we are, the content associated with HINARI. So now, this is HINARI. Now, when you look at the various areas, so you have 37,000 and over information that is contained within Hinari. You have over 24,000 books. You have 12,000 journals, 62 references, 24 databases, 17 free collections. And as with regards to limiting the years, if you are doing the research, normally you want current information, you can always limit the dates so that you'll be able to get current information for whatever research you are undertaking. So this is Hinari for you. So we want to access Hinari collection. So we click on Hinari, and automatically the system will be updating because we are limiting ourselves to the Hinari collection. And as I mentioned, when you hear Hinari, it is more into health and its related sciences or discipline. So it's updating the system. Okay. So here we are. You realize that it has indicated that we have limited our distance to only Hinari. And then maybe we want only books. We want to access books that contain in Hinari collections. Okay, so it has indicated Hinari books. Okay, so now we can decide that look at the subject areas: environmental, economics, finance, development studies, psychology, and others. So we can decide to just limit our distance here just for the sake of presentation. So you apply, and as I mentioned, we are limiting ourselves to only Hinari, and I only indicated books. So what will come out will be books, excluding journals and others. So we are just doing this to appreciate the relevance of this particular portal. Okay, so here we are. So everything here, they are all books. And from archaeology to Z, from A to Z. So you can go through each of them to find what book that you want to access. So you can go to see more so that it could release more information with regards to books that are entailed in this particular collection. It's still loading. Okay, yeah, so it has loaded a lot of books. So these are, and when you even look at the caption, Hinari offers access to thousands of journals, books, and other information sources in biomedical and health science topics. The journal and books can be shared through a special version of Commit Mainline and through other databases. So these are materials that are more in books. So as I mentioned, I just indicated books, and then journal. I want to include journal. So it will indicate the type of journal that are being integrated into the system. That they have over 12,000 journals, and then over 24,000 books, 62 reference sources, 24 database, and then free collection 17. Okay, so now, so any indication, if you indicate any of their system, it gives you the indicators. So you have the Hinari book journal. So whatever is here include book journal. And assuming we want to access any of them. It's quite a huge collection. So let's look at A Gentleman and Officer. It is a book published in Hinari Portal. So here we are, published in 22nd January 1998. This is an abstract. This is a full book. You have the contents here, and if you want to go into each of the contents, you can always click on them to view the chapter. Okay, so here we are, and you can also download it PDF. You can download the PDF version. Okay, so this is the PDF version of the chapter that we have just accessed. So it's a very user-friendly, and this is coming from Oxford Academic. Yeah. So as I mentioned earlier, so the journals are here. Now I want to find out the type of journals that are being captured in Hinari collection. So that is it for the Hinari. As I mentioned, so it's just a matter of you limiting the your searches. So we just we are going back to go through the second content. Okay, so yeah, the second collection is Agora. Okay, so Agora, content associated with Agora provide access to thousands of information resources covering agri, fisheries, food, nutrition, veterinary science, and related biological, environment, and social sciences in public institutions across the world. Yeah, so let's limit our distance. They have over 23,660. Check the books. Let's apply, and just so you can always search within the collection. You see, so I've just typed farms, and these are the information I'm getting from farms, different types of areas, fundamental and applied agric farm to Folk Foundation, organic farming, and others. So you can always search within the content, you see. So you can search Agora content, OARE, Goli, Hinari, and ARD. So because we are just interrogating Agora, that is why I decided just to try farms and see what will pop up. Now, let's move to the next one, which is more into environmental and its related subject area. Sorry, I have to go back and check the content first before, because we are still within Agora content. So let me go back. Okay, so I have to check the collection first. So OARE, then I want to check the books on OARE. As I mentioned earlier, OARE is more into environmental and its related discipline. Okay, so OARE content associated with, yeah, so here we are. So you have 16,000. Okay, so the content type, they have 9,000, over 9,000 books, over 6,600 journal, reference source 23, database 14, information provider 12. So OARE is more into environmental, Agora, Agric, Hinari, health and its related, AIDI is development and innovation, and then GOALI, GOLI, is on legal issues. So yeah, so immediately you indicate the collection. You see the indication on top here, and then we've gotten our indicated book. So it means whatever we are going to search are going to be within these parameters. So let's maybe just type environment. Environment, okay. So what will be popping up will be books related to environment. So you remember I didn't check out a journal, so I just wanted books, only books. So you have agriculture and environmental statistics, environment statistics, journal of the human environment, adapting to a changing environment, and others. So let me go back here and see if I can access any of them. Adapting to change. Okay, so this is a book. The indication is here, published in 2011. The OARE is there, here. The DOI is here. So this is the book. Front page, title, the ISBN there, print, publisher, Oxford University Press. And then you can always go into each chapter to read that particular chapter, and you can also download the PDF version of that chapter, just like how we did with the Hinari. So it's the same procedure that you need to use to access information. So now let's check. We are now going to, you can search across all the journals, all the collections. You see, so if you want to search across all the collections. When I'm talking about the collections, I'm talking about the Hinari, ARDI, and others. So you can always go to the search button here, search across the research for life here. So maybe surveying. So I have over 40,000 results just surveying. These include books and then journals. This is a journal type. Let me try accessing. As I mentioned earlier, don't limit yourself to the name of the collection, because you might think that it's just talking about only environment, but it goes beyond that. You realize that the surveying has nothing, even though it is related, but here is a Journal of Civil Engineering and Management, January 2014 journal. And this is something to do with surveying techniques. And this is the whole abstract. And if you want to, it gives you the volume, number, and others. So let's try and access the whole journal article here. So we are trying to access the whole article, the journal. You can also download the PDF. Okay, so here we are. So we are able to download the whole article on. So you can always use search across to search all the various so the content that include in almost all the collections are journals, books, reference sources. Let us find out of the reference sources. What are they? So we all know references. They are more, they are the dictionary, the encyclopedia, the handbooks, the indexes, and others. So they are not material that you will need to read from page to page. You only have to identify the subject area that you want to read in that particular material, and then go in there to read. It gives you a basic information about every subject, brief information. If the dictionary is just the definition and its related synonyms. If it's encyclopedia, gives you brief information about every subject. Handbooks, a whole specialized information about a subject. Maybe mining. You want a handbook on mining. It will give you information that has everything to do with mining. So it's more specialized than encyclopedia. So this is the references that have been captivated by Hinari. These are all reference sources. You realize that we have agric and environmental statistics. It's a reference source. You have access to medicine index and others. So you can always Cochrane Library Dictionary of Energy. As I mentioned, it goes beyond what have you. So it is a whole portal that takes into consideration almost every subject area. You see, so family planning, a global handbook for providers. They are just trying to see the type of reference sources that um, Research for Life has in their system. Let me try E and see if you can get anything to do with Earth. Earth and is maybe encyclopedia of Earth or so there's encyclopedia here, encyclopedia of Earth. So we can click on it. This is a discipline related to what we are specializing in our institution here, encyclopedia of Earth. So this is a whole encyclopedia. You can come in to search in this particular encyclopedia. Let's see whether we can get something on mining. So this is a whole encyclopedia of Earth. So it takes care of. So my search for mining result to over 1,000 recall. You have mining and materials, pollution, minerals and mining, street mining, Surface Mining Control and Reclamation Act. You see, so this is just encyclopedia of Earth. Yeah, so you can also search to find a reference sources by just typing your keyword on the search button and then you click. Okay, here check any not provided. Okay, so I think what is happening here is that, you know, they have indicated in their distance that is from A to Z. So depending on the subject area that you want to access, you can always go in there and then click. So as I mentioned, when I click on E, it gave me Earth and related areas. So let me go to M and see if we could get different subject reference sources. Okay, so M is giving us a Max Planck Encyclopedia of Public International Law, Encyclopedia of Comparative Constitutional Law. Okay, let's check this side. O. Okay, so O is giving us Oxford Bibliographies Online, Competition Law, Constitution of the World, Dictionaries, Premium, Oxford English, Handbooks, International Organizations, Legal Research Library, Medicine, Oxford Reference, and others. So that is reference sources, and then they also have databases that covers all the various collections. So these are some of the databases that are in their system. They have directory, environmental index, science collections, global index, Google Scholar, and others. So let's look at Dimension. Dimension is a very interesting database that has something to do with research, grants, and others. So it will give you an indication of some of the funding and other related information. So these are the filters. You can always filter the year. Maybe you want to find out what is going on with regards to 2024 in terms of funds and grants. And then we are checking the researcher, or we can leave the researcher and go to the research organization, which organization is funding what. And we can also move to the country, maybe Japan. The category, the funder, who is funding, National Natural Sciences. We are just doing a casual, and then the areas, the categories of the research area. You have fields of research. You can browse sustainable development and others. The publication date, the publication type, is it article, chapter, proceedings, or, and then the source title. You see. Yeah, so let's just limit to what we have indicated. Okay, so they are telling us that the National Natural Science Foundation of China, the publication resulting is over 4 million data sets, the grants over 560,000 US dollars, and it is into clinical trials. So here you can check on possible funding for whatever research you want to undertake. So it's a very powerful database that you need to just come and use it to check on what is happening in your area or specialty, check whether there are research funding that you can take advantage to apply. They have also indicated the research categories of the National Natural Science Foundation of China: engineering, chemical sciences, biomedical, information and computing, and others. So this is a very good area for you to check on funding and what type of grants are available, patents, and others. So it's a very powerful database that I will encourage our university researchers to always take advantage to see what they can find from that source. We also have free collections. Free collection simply means that, you know, these days we have open access collection, so you are able to harvest what has been published outside their zone to put them into the system so that researchers can have free will to access them. So these are all free journals and books and what have you. So you can see that it cuts across different subject areas. And it also indicates information providers. Who are the people providing information to Research for Life? So these are the information providers, very powerful institutions all over the world that are providing information to Research for Life. So you have Science Direct, you have Lancet, and others. ProQuest, Royal Society, University of California, Yale Law School, very powerful information providers that you can always check their status to find out what they are into. And then they also have recent resources. So publications or materials that have been published currently are put in their system, so that you want to find out what is currently being published in the Research for Life portal. So you can always go into the recent online information sources. So these are recent publications and others that have been put into their system. And then the subjects. What are the subjects? So we have 207. So look at the subjects, you see, across Research for Life. You see, you realize that there are different subject areas altogether that are encompassing what the collections sought to. You see, so Hinari Agora ERD. So when you go to the subject areas, you realize that there are different areas that you might not think that it would come under Research for Life, because you think it is just related to only these 5. So look at the areas: astronomy, biochemistry, biology, bridge engineering, climate change, computer science, economics, finance, electrical and nuclear engineering and electronics, electricity and magnetism, energy, engineering, just mentioning areas that are more relevant to our institution: environmental chemistry, environmental engineering, ethics, forestry, geology and earth sciences, information and library studies, mathematics, mechanical engineering, mining engineering and metallurgy, natural resources, pollution and environmental, toxicology, social sciences. FEMS is there, so social sciences are there, statistics and mathematics, technology, chemical technology. All these are areas that are matters to us. So you can always make good use of the subject areas and then find out each of them what type of information that have been integrated into that subject area. So I just click on environmental sciences. Okay, so here we are, environmental sciences, and then look at information providers: Springer Nature, Director of Open Journals, and others. So these are the search for the environment sciences. You can always go in and then you can also limit the years. You see, you can limit the years. Also limit the content type, whether you want journal or book. And then the language. So probably we've seen some different languages. It might include different languages because it is just across. So if you want to just limit to English language, you just click on English, because most of the publications are even in English, over 400. Yeah. Okay, so here we are. It has indicated English, so whatever is popping up is going to be only English. So that is how it is, and this one cuts across all the areas. So if you are doing your research, always come to this area, the content type, the collection. If you want journal or books, the publication dates, and then you apply, and then it will change to the indicator that you want. So these are, I think I'm almost done with my online interrogation of the Research for Life. We've gone through the journals, books, reference sources, the databases, the free collections, information providers, recent resources, and then the subjects. And if you want to just search across, you can always click here and then search across the whole database. So as a researcher, you will need information from different areas. So you can always come in here, type in your keyword or your topic that you are working on, and see what will pop up. So I think to wrap up, you need to always log in. But as I mentioned, we are trying to integrate it into our IP, so you don't need to log in when this process is done. But we have logged in with our login details, and it has recognized us. You're from Ghana, and then institution is the university. So normally, if you log in with your proper accredited login details, it recognizes you all right, because a hospital can have access to it, also can log in and indicate that it is a hospital, but this is university, so indicated University Ghana that recognize us. And then you can also come to the hamburger distance to go through the various indicators, the collections, you see, and then maybe search content. You see, you can also come here and then do advanced searching. You want information, maybe mining and environment, or pollution and this, or these are Boolean operators, or you can use or. You want mining or Ghana, and it will recall information in that regard. And then not, maybe mining, not pollution, so it will just extricate pollution and then provide you information on only mining. So this is a very powerful portal that we want to encourage the university community to make good use of it. As I mentioned, these are free information database portal that has been provided by Research for Life for our institution. We have gone through the process to register, and that is why we are able to have access to this all-important portal. Thank you so much for your attention, and I hope that the presentation, the online interrogation will give you an idea with regards to the type of information that you can access from this portal. Thank you.